We got Peter Schweizer, who we love, the great investigative journalist, also president of the Government Accountability Institute. Peter, so great to have you here. Tell us what you've uncovered regarding Zoran Mamdani, of course, running for mayor in New York, and maybe some of the money coming into him.
Yeah, great to be with you guys as always. Look, New York is the international town, right? What people have to realize is that the way American election laws are, you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to contribute to political campaigns. That includes the New York mayoral race. And there are already some very odd and I think frightening names associated with that campaign. So, for example, there's a super PAC named Unity and Justice Fund out of California that gave $100,000 to New Yorkers for lower costs, which is Mamdani's PAC. Days before the Unity and Justice Fund made that donation to his PAC, they received a massive donation from a guy named Sirja Wahaja, who is a Muslim preacher. He was associated with some of the people that attacked the World Trade Center. He has 3 sons that in 2024 were convicted on terrorism charges and are serving a life in prison. So he was essentially the donor of those funds. And in August, he gave an interview with a Muslim news outlet where he talked about the need for all the Muslims of New York to influence that campaign and to help get him elected.
So, Peter, just so people understand, this guy who you brought up had some serious terror ties. He donated, you're saying, to the United Justice Fund? He was the big donor?
Unity and Justice Fund. Yes, Unity and Justice Fund. And then literally in days, the Unity and Justice Fund donated $100,000 to New Yorkers for lower costs, which is Zoran's political action committee. There's another group out there, ironically has the names Jews for Zoran. It is run by the niece of a guy named Roy Singham. The niece's name is Alicia Singham Godwin. She's running this organization, which somehow is supposed to represent Jews that are supporting the Mamdani campaign. Here's what's interesting about her. Roy Singham, her uncle, is an American billionaire who sold his business and moved to Beijing, China, shortly after he sold it. I write about this extensively in my book, BloodMoney. He is close friends with one of the chief propagandists for the CCP. He attends Chinese Communist Party events all the time. He's a self-described Maoist. And he supports very radical groups in the United States, like People for Socialism and Liberation, which are leading a lot of these violent protests. I believe it will be borne out that Jews for Zoran is being funded by Roy Singham. Singham wants to see Mamdani elected. He is a socialist himself. And this represents, again, another source of, I think, very mysterious and concerning money that is flowing into the Mamdani campaign.
Now, let me ask you, and I'm looking at Judge Weinberg, who's also here in the studio, and John, this guy, the first guy you talked about with these terror ties, how is that allowed, right? I mean, are there any violations here, Judge, if it turns out that it comes from this individual?
I thought... Peter, it's good to talk to you. I thought there were limitations on the ability of foreigners to give into American campaigns. Are you saying that not so?
No. If you are a permanent resident or you have resident status, you are entitled to give as much as any American individual can.
So the people who are truly outsiders, true foreigners that are prohibited from doing this.
If they have a green card, they can give it the same as an American citizen?
Right.
That's right. And so, for example, Roy Singham, who lives in China, is actually an American citizen, but is essentially now living in China full time. He can give, but in the case of Sirja Wahaj, he can give as any American can. And it's one of those loopholes in our election law, because to be a permanent resident of the United States, you would presumably, by the name, think that that person lives permanently in the United States. In fact, you don't have to. And there are many instances involving people who are Chinese, who have permanent resident status in the United States, who continue to live in China, which are donating to campaigns in New York, Boston, Los Angeles, a lot of local races. So it's a huge loophole problem of foreign money, what I would call foreign money, trying to influence American elections. And that certainly is the case in the Mamdani campaign.
Well, that's good that you raised that, because there was just a recent article in the New York Times about the Chinese influence, the Chinese Communist Party direct influence into local campaigns, fundraising through all these phony groups, and they would get their orders from China. And this is and anybody who challenges the Communist Party in the United States, particularly in New York, where there's a big Chinese community, they go after them, they threaten their families, and they intimidate them, and they run candidates against them, which are well funded.
No, that's a great point, Judge. They absolutely go after people that are critical of China. They also support candidates that they feel are going to be favorable to China. So you have the mayor of Boston. This issue has come up that Chinese individuals who are connected to what are called United Front groups. These are groups that work with the Chinese Communist Party and the Chinese government. Were holding fundraisers to help get her elected. Same thing for Karen Bass, who is the mayor of Los Angeles, highly controversial. She also received large campaign donations, legal, from Chinese nationals who had resident status in the United States and were linked to these United Front groups. And I think that New York is next on that hit list. So they go after their opponents, but they also support those that they believe are going to be friendly to their cause.
Wow. Well, this is blockbuster. Peter, please keep us posted, whatever else you uncover. This is really interesting stuff just on so many levels, and of course affecting some big politicians in New York and elsewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter.
Great to be with you.
You too, Peter. Thank you. You're terrific.